Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look inside your head, because it turns out there are two characters constantly running the show up there. This comes from the incredible work of Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman in his masterpiece, Thinking, Fast and Slow. And trust me, you might be a little surprised to find out who's really in charge.
All right, let's just dive right in with a quick mental exercise. You're going to see two different tasks on the next slide. All you have to do is pay attention to how each one feels. That's it. Ready?
So on the left, you see her face, and boom, you know she's angry. You didn't think about it, you didn't have to decide anything, you just knew. It was completely automatic. But on the right, 17 times 24. That's different, isn't it? You can almost feel your brain having to consciously switch gears and put in some real effort. Well, you've just experienced the two systems that shape pretty much all of your thinking.
Kahneman actually gives these two ways of thinking names. He treats them like two characters in a play. So let's go ahead and properly introduce the two agents who are, right this second, running your mind. First up, meet the star of the show, System 1. This is your gut. It's the fast, intuitive, automatic part of your mind that's just always on. You don't choose to use it, it just happens.
Think about it. System 1 is what handles all the stuff that just happens to you. You hear an angry tone in someone's voice. You know that 2 plus 2 is 4. You can finish the phrase bread and butter. You're not deciding to do any of this. Your brain just serves it up on a platter.
And now let's meet the supporting character, System 2. This is your conscious self, the part of you that reasons things out. It's slow, it's deliberate, and it takes real effort. And, as Kahneman loves to point out, it's also incredibly lazy. You actually have to call on System 2 anytime you need to focus. Searching for a specific person in a crowd, trying to parallel park in a space that's way too small, or doing your taxes. All of those things demand your full, undivided attention.
So here's the crucial dynamic between them. System 1 is constantly creating impressions, intuitions, and feelings, and then it just passes them along to System 2 as suggestions. And most of the time, our lazy System 2 just trusts that gut feeling and signs off on it. No questions asked.
Now, this setup works pretty well most of the time. But what happens when System 1's quick, easy, intuitive answer is just flat out wrong? Well, that's when we get to see these two systems collide.
Okay, let's try another quick puzzle. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 total. The bat costs exactly $1 more than the ball. So how much does the ball cost? Just notice that very first answer that pops into your head. Did you think 10 cents? If you did, hey, your System 1 is working perfectly. It saw the numbers, it saw a simple answer that felt right, and it just served it up. It's an elegant answer, it's appealing, and it is completely wrong. And you know what? If you fell for that, you are in some seriously good company. This little puzzle fools more than half of the students at Harvard, MIT, and Princeton. So this isn't about being smart, it's about a universal human tendency to take the easy mental shortcut.
The correct answer is actually 5 cents. Think about it. The ball is 5 cents, the bat is $1.05, which is $1 more, and together they're $1.10. But to get there, you have to wake up your lazy System 2 to actually override that first impulse and check the math, and that takes effort.
Let's look at a visual example of this. This is a famous illusion. Just look at the two horizontal lines. Your gut, your System 1, is probably screaming that the bottom line is longer, right?
Well, it's not. You probably already know this is the Mueller-Lyer illusion, and those lines are exactly the same length. But here's the truly wild part. Even when you know for a fact that they're the same length, your System 2 has the correct information, you can't stop your System 1 from seeing the bottom line as longer. You are being fooled by your intuition, and you literally can't turn it off. Now, System 1's power goes way beyond these little puzzles and illusions. It's constantly, secretly, guiding your judgments and your choices in ways you don't even realize.
Kahneman explains this using a really powerful idea called priming. The basic idea is that subtle little cues in our environment can trigger certain ideas in our minds, which then go on to influence how we behave, all without us ever being consciously aware of it. And this idea is shown perfectly by a real experiment. In an office kitchen, they used an honesty box to collect money for coffee. Well, on the weeks when researchers put up a poster of flowers, contributions were okay. But when they swapped that out for a poster of watching eyes, people suddenly started paying nearly 3 times as much. That feeling of being watched, even by a picture, was a prime. It unconsciously triggered this idea of being judged,
And that changed their behavior, making them more honest. And get this, the people in the study had absolutely no idea this was happening. It was all System 1, working behind the scenes.
So this is all fascinating stuff, right? But it really all builds to the most important question. What's the point? What can we actually do with this knowledge in our own lives?
The main takeaway here is not that you should just stop trusting your gut feelings. That would be impossible and honestly exhausting. Your System 1 is amazingly good at what it does most of the time. The real goal is to simply understand the language of your own mind.
So the practical game plan is really 2 steps. First, just learn to recognize the kinds of situations where your intuition is likely to lead you astray, like when you're dealing with big statistics or making a complex choice. And second, when you're in one of those situations and the stakes are actually high, make a real conscious effort to slow down and wake up your lazy, analytical System 2.
You know, having this language of System 1 and System 2 doesn't just make you a better thinker. It makes you a better observer of human nature. It gives you a richer vocabulary to understand why we and the people around us make the choices we do, and why we all make such predictable mistakes.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Your conscious self, your System 2, walks around thinking it's the hero of the story, that it's the one calling all the shots. But so much of what it thinks and feels and does, it all starts as a quiet suggestion from the automatic, hidden System 1. So now that you've been properly introduced, who do you think is truly in the driver's seat?